I'm just going to come out and say it right off the gates. This is my game of the year for 2025. This is one of the best games I've played in a very long time. And you guys have seen many videos on my channel. I have not played many RPGs, much less JRPGs, and this game actually surpassed all my expectations. And what makes it even better is that this is a small development team, their debut game, and it's only $50 for all that. And you get all this amazing goodwill and good content and story writing and graphics, just so much good content with this game, and it's their debut game. Like, you guys can tell how excited I am about this game. Expedition 33 has quickly become one of my favorites in recent years, and somehow surprises me even still. Sure, as a JRPG, maybe it doesn't do anything too different from others, but what it makes up for is an amazing story, the characters, the graphics, the vocal performances. Everything about this game is some of the highest quality polish, and what really gets me is that this is a small development team with their first game. You could take fully polished AAA games that are nowhere near this good, much less for the $50 price point or $70 that other games are asking for. The fact that they decided to lowball it for this, I think this game absolutely deserves nomination. Let me just put it right simply, if you have not played this game, if you have not bought it, go buy it right now, go get it. It is a must buy, must own. If you like JRPGs, you must play this game. Go get Expedition 33 right now. Go support developers who actually care about their players. And the fact that this is their first game, go show them some support. They absolutely deserve it for cooking up a game like this, and somehow managing to even surprise me as someone who doesn't really play RPGs or JRPGs all that much. This game knocks it out of the park in every single regard. I don't want to keep going on in a tangent, but that's just my initial thoughts. This game is freaking awesome, guys. You guys have to play Expedition 33. So with that all out of the way, what makes this game so perfect to me? What makes it such a good game that I'm singing its praises, that I'm so excited that I'm going to be going back to it? As soon as I'm done recording this video, I'm going to go play more of it just because of how much I like it. Well, first, it's really the story and the characters. I know many people like to play these games just for the gameplay or the satisfying combat, and this game has that too, and we'll be covering that. But the story is so relatively unique. It's such a small but unique idea. You know, having this countdown going from essentially 100 down to 0, and you have to stop it before it gets to that point. It's such a unique idea, such a cool idea, and they executed it flawlessly, practically flawlessly. The amount of story here and the backstory and lore is so interesting. The world is full of life. All the characters have their own unique backstories, and really they have almost all complete character arcs. There are some here that I feel could have been a bit longer, in my opinion. I 100% think there are some moments in the story that could have been changed for sure. I think some parts do kind of feel a little kind of heavy just for the sake of being heavy. But for the most part, honestly, I think it works out just fine. I think really the game knows what it's trying to do and sets out from the beginning with that expectation. There's never a point in the game thus far where I feel that it sets an expectation that you're not going to be reaching. There's no expectation in the game that you're going to feel very dissatisfied with. There are some moments that I do feel a little unsatisfied, but that's just me. For you, or for any other players, you might feel just as satisfied when I didn't, and that's perfectly okay, because this game manages to pretty much do it all. If you don't like something, I'll probably will. That's why I think this game is just so damn exciting. It feels so fresh to me. I don't know how to describe it. It's really one of those games that's kind of like Elden Ring in 2022, that kind of feels like lightning in a bottle, even though the bottle's already been captured by many other, Souls-like games. This is basically the same thing, but for JRPGs. Yet it feels so fresh at the same time. It feels like they really put love and soul and care into making a finished product. Now let's talk about the combat, right? The combat feels immensely satisfying here. There are many builds for any player to really choose from. There are many styles of combat, close range, shooting, and many other styles that you can go from. Personally, I like to have a huge healer on my left as Lune, because she can have many spells where she can bring her team back to life. Really good stuff for healing the entire team, and you can stack it with other spells as well, which can increase healing across the board and start regeneration at the beginning of a turn. I'm not trying to explain the whole thing, but you know what I mean. It really does just feel complete. It feels like there's a lot of different options. If I want to make Lune an offensive fighter, I can. Or if I want to make anyone else a defensive fighter, I can. Because there's so many options. It feels so open. And yet it still feels a little bit fresh with the point system, where you can give more characters certain points so that they can use certain abilities longer, or more abilities if you don't like the ones that they already have. It really does such a unique way of making the characters feel different, but also similar, in that you can build similar builds for other characters. You can make one strong team, or you can have teams with different characters and different abilities dedicated for certain styles of combat. And of course there's characters who pretty much encapsulate this, like Melee, who essentially has many different forms of combat. Defensive, offensive, and different styles as well. And those stances can do extra damage, and she does a lot of burning damage, so you can very much play along with her, and depending on how you like to play, really do some damage. I'm going to have some gameplay here as well using other characters where the stacking damage can do insane numbers if you know how to play it right. Or you can keep stacking basic attack damage, and that can lead to significantly longer turns if you're playing as Versa. I really like the idea that this game does, where you can really feel like you're kind of playing with the characters in your own way, your own style, yet at the same time still give them their unique style of combat. For example, Lune I found to be mostly a spell mage, mostly healer in my opinion, though you can obviously play her offensively with different elements. But personally I feel she's more suited as a tank role, and of course a healing defensive role, but that's just me. I definitely feel like certain roles are filled specifically for that purpose, so if you do decide to play this game, make sure you're playing the characters in a familiar way to how they are in-game, because you'll definitely notice that for sure. I myself didn't really utilize the characters as good as I could have until about mid to late game, I would say. Some characters are definitely specifically meant for certain roles, and you'll notice that if you play in a different way. For me personally, using Lune as offensive was a very bad idea, at least at the start. Once you get higher skills, she's actually pretty damn powerful. But at the beginning, honestly, I think a healer role is probably suiting your best, and Verso is your main attack guy, especially with the amount of stacking you can do with him. He is very, very strong, and I personally feel that he's one of the funnest characters to play, especially with certain abilities that let you do more damage over time, the less health you have. Me, I suck at parrying, and I suck at dodging, so often I'll be low on health anyways, and using stacked damage can do up to 9,000 damage depending on how much health you have left, or if you want to use a high damage attack, can deal mark, critical, burning, and extra damage on top of that in exchange for 30% of your health. Really good stuff here. God, I love talking about this game. I don't know if you could tell by this video by this point, but this game has made me so giddy at just grinding it out and playing more of it, and I probably will do multiple playthroughs as well. This game definitely encourages you to try and experiment, and really there's not much to say on that front other than a few minor nitpicks here and there that I can honestly overlook given that it's their first time going about this, and these same developers took inspiration from some of the greats like Elden Ring and Dark Souls to look at those games and put that inspiration here. Absolutely love it, and you can definitely tell it's there for sure. However, I think there's one minor thing here that kind of annoys me a little bit. And it's not a minor thing either. It is a little bit of a big deal for those who want to explore, get 100% completion. It's a bit of a big deal. Really, it's just the lack of a mini-map, or the lack of a map that you can actually have on hand. I know they said it's for immersion, and it does do that. It does make it more immersive, especially when you're trying to explore an area for the first time. And they do explain this as, expeditions don't really leave maps, because they're dead. But I definitely think a mini-map or something could benefit the game for sure. And it's for me personally because if I want to explore and the map is huge, it can be very confusing. And at the beginning of the game, I would often be going in a loop because the game doesn't really give you explicit instructions on where to go. The cutscenes do give a good idea as to what you should be doing, and you'll definitely notice that in certain boss fights, optional boss fights that you can do. You are given instructions on how to make it slightly easier for yourself, and I do appreciate that. I just wish that there was some sort of way that you could really see where you're going to be going if you're on a big map, or just some sort of marker or something. There are some subtle hints that I will give them kudos for. For example, the main pathway usually is lit up, so if you're trying to find your objective, it will be lit up either by candles or by golden flowers, depending on the area of the map you're in, or just by some sort of light that shows you a direct path to where you're going. I can appreciate that, but next time, if there is DLC or a sequel, please let there let there be one, I will be buying that day one. If there is one, please just add in some sort of map that they added in after the game, because I feel like at this point, once the game is done and over with, they should have like a really good map of the area, of the region. So I feel like there shouldn't be an excuse next time of immersion, when you could definitely add that in after you get in a bunch of context from the game and the story, just for next time. Obviously this game's for the immersion, and it very much exceeds at that. So I think I've yapped enough about why I love this game and why I think it's one of the very few games I can call a masterpiece. Really just all of that, and the goodwill, and the fact that it's a AA game. I believe it's considered a AA game, and these developers care so much, and the fact that it's only $50, I think can honestly push this game into the 10 out of 10 territory. I honestly think that with all the goodwill here, the gameplay, the story, the attention to detail, the fact that they really lowballed this game, and yet it's somehow still so good, and still I think a Game of the Year contender, easily my Game of the Year. I think it's 10 out of 10. I think this is truly one of the best games I've played in a very long time. And I highly encourage anyone, if anyone's watching this and you haven't played it yet, go buy this game, go support the developers. They really care about what they're doing here, and I'm not sponsored in any way. I just picked up this game, and I absolutely love it, and so should you. So go check out this game. If you haven't already, you're going to love it. And if you're a fan of any JRPG, this is definitely going to do it for you. But that's all I have to say on the matter. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. I could always use a new addition to the Dark Ops army. And if you like this video, and if you like the game as well, let me know in the comments why. And let me know if you didn't think this game was as good as I thought it was, or if there are certain sections of the game you thought could have been better. But let me know what you thought about this game in the comments below. I could really appreciate seeing comments about this, because personally this is my Game of the Year, and I want to know if anyone else thinks the same way. So let me know in the comments below what your Game of the Year is. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is Dark Ops. I'm going to go play more of Expedition 33. See you guys later.